I'm really excited about today's video, but to be honest, I don't really know how many of you are going to be into this one. But when I recently figured out where these locations were, I couldn't wait to go out and shoot this. I first heard N.W.A. in 1987 or 1988. My brother brought home the N.W.A. and Posse record. I actually remember my brother and I video recording ourselves lip syncing to Dope Man. Now, I can't seem to find those videos, but I'm pretty sure they were awful. Of course, soon after we got Straight Outta Compton, and everything was great until one morning when I came out in the living room and my dad was sitting there reading the Sunday paper. The paper had run an article on Straight Outta Compton. I can still remember having to sit there and listen to my dad read the lyrics to me out of the paper. From that day forward, every so often our parents would do a tape check. That's when they would tell my brother and I to go get all of our cassette tapes so they could check all the content. So not only did Straight Outta Compton change rap music, it also changed my brother and I's musical freedom. Today we're going to check out the filming locations for the N.W.A. music video, Express Yourself. Let's go see what we can find. The majority of the video was shot right here on Santa Monica Boulevard, just east of Vine Street. After those scenes with them out in the field, the group is then seen walking down Santa Monica Boulevard. All these buildings can be seen in the background along with those billboards. But the building that can be seen the most is this one right here on my right. There were two big windows that can be seen behind the group, but as you can see, those windows are no longer there. But if you look closely, you can see where those windows used to be but have since been covered up. The group continues down Santa Monica Boulevard and right past this sign. Now in the video, you can see the address on top of the sign. Underneath it, it says Radiators and then Body and Paint. As you can see, this is still a body shop. The group then continues down Santa Monica Boulevard. All this happens right across the street from this building. At the time, this building was Macola Records, the record pressing plant where Jerry Heller had an office, and N.W.A. along with a ton of other hip-hop groups would get their records pressed. The scene with the parade and Dr. Dre standing up in the back of the car was shot right here on Santa Monica Boulevard, just east of Vine Street. That big white building can be seen very clearly in the background behind him. At the time it was the Colhurst Apartments, and it was one of the biggest clues that helped me find these locations. If you remember, it was right about here where they hear the gunshots and Dr. Dre ducks down in the back seat of the car. This Yoshinoya at the time was AAA signs and banners, and it can be seen in the background as they pass by. As they roll by, the AAA sign can be seen in the background behind them, along with this telephone pole that can be seen right next to Dr. Dre. Right next to the Yoshinoya at 6226 Santa Monica Boulevard was Roy Hart's Drum City. A large portion of the video was shot here in the parking lot of Drum City, along with the alley right behind it. Right next to Drum City was a building called the Studio USA, and that can be seen all throughout the video. As you can see, it's no longer here and now it's just a part of the parking lot. As the group's down here rapping in the parking lot, people are gathered all around them. People can be seen hanging out on these stairs, along with that second story up there as well. And of course, right here is where the police officer on the horse shows up, swinging his baton at everybody. The camera is shooting this way as everybody kind of pushes the police officer out of the parking lot. These buildings across the street can be seen off in the distance. There's a lot of shots with the camera pointing this way with these apartments over here in the background. Now at the time this fence wasn't here and everybody's just kind of hanging out, spilling out into the alley. There was also a lot of scenes shot directly behind Drum City. And according to a couple of sources, not only was part of the video shot right behind Drum City, but this is also where they shot the album cover for N.W.A. and Posse. I believe it was right over here on this side of the building. Now it looks a lot different. Basically, this shed wouldn't have been here at the time. You can see where there used to be a doorway where the shed now butts up against the wall. So if you can imagine a doorway right next to where this door is, this is where they would have been hanging out. But over here on the west side of the building, a lot of scenes were shot for the Express Yourself video that included this stairwell. There's one scene where somebody's dancing right here in front of this staircase, and the address can clearly be seen up there on the building. Now there's a couple of different scenes where the camera pans over this way and you can very briefly see a red Suzuki Samurai parked right up against this wall. That Samurai belonged to Eazy-E. So you know I had to bring my Suzuki down here and park it in virtually the exact same spot where Eazy-E had his Samurai parked. So I came back here in the alley to look over the fence and give you guys a little bit of a better shot. Now remember, like I said, this fence wasn't here, so everybody was just kind of spilling out into the alleyway. So imagine right here is where everyone was hanging out, getting up in the camera. These apartment buildings can be seen a couple of times behind N.W.A. You can see some carports. And if we look over this fence, that's the shot we see. You can tell by that little ledge that's hanging down off the top of the carport. And I believe this fence over here, this is where that gas sign was that Tone Loc and N.W.A. are hanging out in front of. Alright, so that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know for me it was really cool and surreal to see all of these spots in person. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.